Is one payday okay if you can capture 20,000 and move on? Hey guys, it's Chris Pree with smartrealestatecoach.com with the infamous Mernicks. Steve and Lauren, I-6 associates from Connecticut, not too far from our neck of the woods, and newly certified coaches. Welcome, guys.
Yeah.
Back again.
Thank you.
So I was saying to you guys before we jumped on here, off recording, that I don't think I've done an AO on these deal structure Sundays in a long time. So it's good for us to show, as you know, we try to show everything, right? The good, the bad, the ugly. In this case, just one payday. So let's talk about, what town was this? What state? Connecticut?
Connecticut, yep.
Yeah, Enfield, Connecticut.
Enfield. Okay. And then we know it's an AO.
Yep.
Yes, the question for the listeners and for me, I don't know the answer, is was this an AO going in? And if so, how did you know?
This was an AO from the start. This was a Furbo. Basically, the story behind this was that the seller was on with the real estate agent for not very long, like a month and a half. And the reason why he was on the market was because they bought the house exactly about a year ago from today, but he got relocated because of the military and moved to Texas.
I do remember. Okay.
Trying to sell it conventionally and then immediately jumped over to for rent by owner. And that's when we happened to land them.
Someone said on a podcast to me last week, no, you guys ought to look at towns that have military. Like it's just, yeah, I get it. That's what we do. So, so as you guys know, that's pretty normal, right? The military that's what happens. They get transferred. So what was he on with the realtor for?
He was on, okay, so we got it for $199, but I believe he was on,
I think it was so he bought it, but then he was relocated like within months of buying it.
Yeah, he bought it for $193.
Yeah.
And I believe he had it on the market.
I don't remember. Not much.
He just wanted to get out without actually paying anybody anything. That's why I think he took it off the market, because I think he realized after a month he was going to owe the realtor money compared to taken out of his proceeds. Exactly. So not much. Basically, what we had it at the market at $199.
Okay, so did you guys go? I'm going to go back to the AO question. Was this AO kind of because it was tight, or 100% that's what the guy wanted? Like what?
Well, originally we spoke about sub 2 because he didn't have equity, but he didn't want really anything to do with it.
Okay, so I didn't miss anything there. Okay.
Before,
All right. All right. So did you promise him a term up front just for the viewers, or did you say, let me go see what I can do?
So we'll bring it to market. Our typical buyers, they take somewhere between 18 to 24 months to qualify for a mortgage. And, we're going to be able to not only get you out of this without losing money, we're going to, you're going to make money out of this. So that's what worked for him.
It was enticing.
Yeah, it was enticing. He already made 4 or 5 mortgage payments on a vacant home.
Now, here's a thought for you guys before I talk about something else with this, but he's leaving the area. So it's not out of the question that, he might call you if he has a headache with the buyer. He might call you and you could turn this into a sandwich or a sub 2 at that point. Who knows, right?
This is true.
Yeah, who knows? Exactly.
I mean, you guys know him better than I do. I'm just winging it, but I think that that's possible. So, okay, so then you found a buyer?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Took a little bit.
Huh?
Took a little bit, but we found one.
How long?
Oh, probably 4.5 months.
Oh, so that was painful.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we had a few that came close, but nothing that ended up panning out. So we actually, our contract with the seller in terms of marketing, like our time to market, it expired with him. So, Steve had another conversation with him saying, what do you want to do? We can continue marketing. We're getting tons of inquiries. So we feel confident that we will be able to do it.
Yep.
He said, just keep trying.
That's awesome. And you guys, we were just on the associate high 6 mini group meeting today, and you heard Mike has a buyer on a deal. I think it might have been a sandwich. I don't know if it was an AR or a sandwich, but it took 10 months.
10 months, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Now, for the viewers, more so than ever with the virus and climate going on, there's buyers galore. And I don't know if that had anything to do with this or it was just coincidental, but there's buyers galore because they can't get bank financing unless they're ultra pristine credit-wise and down payment-wise, and they're not a jumbo.
Mm-hmm.
So real important. So this guy got pre-qualified. You sent him to the credit screening with Paul. And you got pre-qualified to be mortgage ready when?
12 to 18 months.
You said that earlier, sorry.
That's okay.
Mortgage ready, 12 to 18. Okay. And you sold it for how much? Just
$219,900.
You did. $219,900. And for anyone that might be new, payday 1 is the only thing you're going to get on an AO.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said earlier, I would not count this thing dead. That does not look like a $219,900. I would not count this thing dead if they call back. You never know. Does this guy know you're kind of like a phone call away if he needs you type thing?
Yeah,
yes.
We've been I think that's why we've been in such great communication together, especially when we ran up past our 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been having these open, honest conversations where we're not talking about ourselves. We're talking about what do you think is best for you right now? Do you want to bring it to the market rent while we continue to look around? And the open communication has, because Lauren's been in open conversation with his wife as well.
Who's local still.
She's local still.
Wow. Okay.
So we have a good relationship with them. And I don't see why, say there was unfortunately something to happen where they're both in Texas and they don't want to deal with the buyer, why we couldn't renegotiate, because obviously we want to just continue to help these people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the least bit of curveball ever happened, and chances of that are 2 to 5%, maybe 2 to 10% with the climate. Then they call you and you got a different deal here.
Right.
No problem.
Okay, cool. So payday 1, you got the qualifications back. You set up the buyer signing just so these guys follow the process. And then the final, you said the buyer's meeting. Did you do the buyer's meeting by Zoom?
Yes. FaceTime. Yes, exactly.
FaceTime? Cool.
Yep, so
how long did it take?
I mean, that probably took about 15 or 20 minutes. It ended up going a little bit longer, for a separate reason. But it probably, when we were strictly talking about this, it was probably about 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
We had to for her letter of intention and the deposit plan, acting as homeowner, all of that.
Love it. That's quick though, compared to it in person. And then
it didn't take long.
So how much is payday number 1?
Total is $20,000.
Yep. And the actual seller, we're giving them 33% of the non-refundable down payment. So they'll be receiving $6,600 for their portion.
6,600.
Yep. So that leaves total payday of $13,400, but we do get first month's rent, which brings us up to $15,045.
First month's is how much?
$1,645.
$1,645, Chris.
Okay, so question, you guys may have said this, I might be spacing on you. How much is the underlying mortgage payment on that $199 or whatever it is left?
It's like 190, what was it? We just had the
192 or something?
Yeah, because it was a year ago. They bought it at 193, 0 down with a VA loan, I believe. So in a year, how much could have been paid down? I think it's like a 192 change or 191 change.
And what's the monthly?
$1,445 is his mortgage payment.
Okay, so he's making a couple $100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He wanted to make $200 a month. That was his minimum.
Yeah.
We actually had it listed in the beginning higher than what we ended up selling it for, the monthly, I mean. And we had conversations with him like, look, we're not getting much, so we need to figure something out. So he was willing to drop it down. That was the lowest he was willing to go.
And what's nice too, Chris, is that he has made 6 payments on his vacant home with no one in it. So giving him that $6,600, it doesn't get him completely back, but it
almost
gets him
whole.
4.5 months back from just that.
So this came to what, Steve? 15 and what?
$15,045. That's after you add obviously the first month's rent.
Yeah. All right. So again, I just want to, for the new viewers, if they watch Deal Structures every week, I hope we've covered this. But in all our agreements, if we don't give in, and sometimes we have to, in the agreement says our mortgage payments, in this case, we assign the buyer back to the seller. That's an AO, and I talk about that again in a second, because I'm always assumptive in these, and there might be some new people. But in the agreement, it says our mortgage payments start 30 days after occupancy. So this person's occupying this house when?
The 1st, May 1st.
May 1st. That's the closing you have this Thursday?
No, we're signing it, but she can take occupancy on May 1st.
May 1st. So then their first payment is due June 1. Why? And what's the conversation with the seller? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, May 1, you're going to make that last payment because that's for the month of April. We're not there. The mortgages are paid in arrears. Very simple conversation. I've gotten maybe 3 over the years where they got real stubborn and just wouldn't do the deal, and I wanted to stay in it, so we let them have it. But most of the time, we get it.
Yeah, same thing.
In this case,
like you said,
$1,600 a month. I mean, sorry, a deal. Did this guy complain about that, by the way?
He brought it up right before signing. I sent out the contract, and he did call me specifically about that. And I just told him, just like you said, I said, conventionally, when you sell a house, you're going to get first payment after the month that they move in. So it's the same thing. It's just a different, it's just a separate income revenue for us when we sell the houses. And he just didn't ask any question. Okay, that makes sense.
Could you say it and move on, right?
Yeah. Simple.
All right. Any other nuances on this that would be kind of an aha or a takeaway or a lesson for the viewers?
I would say, at least since I work strictly with the buyers, I would say you have to have patience, because there were a number of times, as I alluded to before, there were a number of times where, you know, I was thinking, okay, this is it. They're gonna do it. They love it. They're telling me they're filling out the next steps forms. They're gonna do the screen the tenant, and it didn't happen. So, you know, I was glad too that the seller was as flexible as he was, and he just allowed us to continue. And you know, just patience was definitely key here, because we needed to wait for the right person.
Yeah, or else you just force feeding it. We've all experienced it. Maybe you guys actually haven't yet, which is good. But if you get too anxious to get someone in there, you're gonna have a headache down the road.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Plus, Chris, we did not put a lot of time. I mean, obviously it took 4 months to sell, but we did not put a ton of time. This property we got on a contract within the same day that I talked to him. Was a 15-minute phone call. However long it takes Lauren to get it on the market, you know, and talk to some buyers for $15,000. I'd say that would worth the time.
No, I think it's sweet. What deal number is that for you guys? Not taken. Well, let's do take-ins and solds.
After today, we got a new take-in, so 14 take-ins. This will be our 3rd sold, and we have 5 on the market right now.
So how many taken? 14 or 13?
14 after today.
14 contracts.
Okay.
And sold to date?
3 sold with 5 on the market currently.
Oh, because the other ones just either lapsed or you gave back or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, with the other ones were Furbo AOs that they wanted to be able to market their property and rent it while we were marketing, and they did rent it before we were able to find a buyer, like 15 days or so. So those ones we got, but they beat us out on those.
Okay, so this was totally different for the viewers to see because, and I want to make sure we skip right over the definition of an AO. So AO just means a sign out, and it means that these guys did the same exact thing they would do for any buyer, for any house, sandwich, on financing, whatever. But after they got the thing all signed with the attorney, there's a couple more pieces of paper. They happen to be perfectly provided on a checklist and in forms on the QLS Model 11. But they take that, and with those forms, they assign the buyer and the whole package from the attorney over to the seller. The seller now steps into what would have been their shoes and handles the deal, and they're gone. Part of the paperwork is a general release. So Steve and Lauren sign a general release by the buyer and the seller, releasing them from any and all liability. So you're done. You're literally done. If they call, happy to help, but you're done. Did I miss anything, you guys?
No, that's just about it, Chris. I think we hit everything there. So
not a complicated one for in this case, I said 20, but that's their total, but 15 grand, not too shabby. Congrats.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you.
Do you guys know, before this AO, what your average per deal has been, all paydays? On the 3?
So like after all 3 paydays combined?
Yeah.
So
Let me add it up.
70,000 on one.
Love it.
Was
Just winging it.
All right, so we got 20,000, 25,000 because 2 AOs, and the other one was a sub 2 at 70 change.
So 110 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and the only reason it's on the lower side for the viewers to know from the averages is 2 out of 3 were AOs.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it good when they start their business and Steve recently quit his job and having cash like that come in? Perfect. And so now he'll start to slowly but surely intermingle the sandwich and the owner financings. We were talking today, Steve, if you remember, and I said my first 13 deals, 12 were AO. Why? That's what I focused on. And then as I got better and more confident, I just started doing the opposite. Now we do 1 or 2 AOs a year. We do mostly stay in the middle of these deals.
Yep. Yeah,
so that's where we're headed.
We're fortunate right now. What we have on the board is a little over $400,000 or $350,000 of houses when it comes to profit to us to be sold. So we have a lot of money on the board right now. Hopefully we can find some people for these houses.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You got 110-ish or whatever that is. And let's say you only have half of those and you don't take any more deals this year, which you're working every day. I know you're going to, but so you have a $300-something created, not all in, created in the course of, let's just say 12 months it took you, and you quit doing deals tomorrow.
Yep.
That's not too shabby.
Yeah, exactly.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. So
now you'll be at $1 million probably by the end of 2020. I would guess, in paydays all on the books. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
we just continue to fill the funnel. There's a lot of people that need help. So that's what we're looking to do right now.
All right, Steve, you by choice left your job. Let's address that before we stop, because right now there are people who have a job and are nervous that they could lose it, or at least thinking, holy shit, if I got to at least think about this for the next 6 months, like it could be me, or they lost their job. So any advice?
Well, our business has, let's see, 7 take-ins in a month and a half since I quit. So there's the difference. The amount of time that you put towards this business directly affects your results. And we follow our numbers incredibly tightly. And when we look at our numbers, it directly affects. I mean, the numbers don't change. It just shows, it's proportional. The output is completely matches what our results are. And all these results are doing is they're shortening, because of obviously the more output, the better we get at this. So that's it, man. The more work you put towards this will directly affect your business. We're fortunately seeing that. Yeah.
Now, if you're watching, your goal is, I had a high 6 associate say to me, look, my goal is not more than 1 a month. I'd be tickled pink with 1 a month. Okay. Steve and Lauren are going to be at a clip where they're doing 2 to 4, 2 in their sleep soon, probably right about now, and then up to 4. So it's a different goal. If your goal is, hey, I'd like to just do 3 of these a year and capture the 50 or 100 grand times 3. Great, that's good too. But if you are looking to go full time, if you are looking to add a supplement, or if you already lost your job, now would be a good time to get your butt into the QLS home study program and make sure you get registered for the QLS live event, because it's virtual. There's no excuse now not to go. Guys, quick comment on the business scaling event, which went virtual, so that these guys know why they should be at QLS. Anything?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was awesome. So we were at BSS last year. That was our first event, right?
No, third. So second.
Last year BSS was our first event.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, 3.
Anyway, so either way.
You guys want to work that out and then.
We really need you for this.
These days are driving me nuts, Chris. I don't know what day. I thought yesterday was Saturday.
Right? What year is it? Anyway, so yeah, I would say virtual versus in person, it really didn't matter at all. Like, we were so engaged. It was so, I mean, the time flew by. The information that we learned, it was incredible. It was probably the best event that I've actually been to.
Chris, how you've mentioned in the past, sometimes when you go to these events, the most valuable parts are when you have this random conversation while walking to the bathroom with somebody else. So you guys set it up so that we could have all these breakaways. So it wasn't like we were doing this specific part of the actual, what do you want to call it? Like a
topic
segment or a topic.
Yeah.
put us in breakaways with four people or so, where we could still have these intimate conversations and get to know people maybe we never met before, or people we just haven't had these deeper conversations with. You guys gave us that opportunity. We have like 30 pages of that Seriously. We took, and a lot of them are from those tiny little segments of being able to talk to somebody. So
yeah, you know, if they're watching this, and I'll wrap up on this thought, and you never been to, I had never seen it till the week before when our coach showed us how to do it, and we went to his virtual event, and that is, we'll be 90 people on the screen, and then at a click of a button, people go into rooms of 3, 4, 5, whatever we determine, just so the viewers know what the hell we're talking about. It was amazingly engaging, and all of a sudden, you blink and it's 2 days later. It was not boring at all. So I appreciate you guys saying that. All right.
No dress code.
What was that, Steve?
I said there was no dress code either, which was nice.
I don't want to know more than that. Thank you. All right, guys, congrats. Look forward to many more of these, and I know the viewers do too. So let's get after it. If you're watching this again and you haven't done anything yet, here, I'll do this. And even though it's public on YouTube, you guys aren't sure what you should do with your job, your life, your business, adding this niche, whatever, set up a strategy call. Go to smartrealestatecoach.com/strategy call. Very difficult. You get a 15 or 20 minute call with myself or Zach, and we'll help you through. We'll help you decide what is the best avenue for you and the best plan. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks again.
Thanks again, Chris.